everyone, I hope you're doing well. We're going to take some time to take a look at our coding challenges and how we're going to be approaching those in this class. I also want to tell you a little bit about the motivation for doing these coding challenges. For online students, you're going to have the opportunity to work on these at a pace that works for you. And for in-person students, we're going to do these during each class meeting. And then we'll be going over a solution. So whenever you're learning anything new that requires regular practice, it's very important to give yourself the opportunity to try a variety of different applications. So our motivation for doing regular coding challenges is to give you that practice that you need. Another motivating factor is preparing for technical interviews. So as you know, the world of programming, data analytics, and data science is changing all the time. But for a number of years and for the foreseeable future, it's going to be an expectation that if you plan to use Python and you advertise that you know Python on a resume, that you'll be able to demonstrate that as part of a technical interview. So that can be really daunting. And that's the reason we're going to do a lot of exercises to prepare for that scenario in a relatively low stakes setting. So to begin with, you'll be given some open-ended challenges without a lot of chance to prepare, but you will get some support and you'll be able to get some hints from me and solutions when appropriate. And we'll also be able to work with one another. For online students, you can take the initiative if you want to collaborate with a classmate. For in-person students, that collaboration will be built into our class meetings. So that's why we're doing this. We're going to have one each class. That means 2 every week. And in order to solve our coding challenges, we're going to accomplish another one of our objectives for this class, which is to learn multiple platforms for writing and running Python code. So you'll see that our main assignments, weekly assignments, are going to be performed in Google Colab. And then our coding challenges we're going to do in Replit. So it's going to give you a professional advantage if you know more than just one platform for writing and running Python code. Okay, so that's a little bit of background for why we're doing these. It's really important to practice regularly, and we're going to make sure we do. But in order to prepare for the coming weeks, we'll need to be familiar with this platform. It could be overwhelming to learn multiple technology platforms all at once. So I want to give you a chance to work on these a little bit at a time. So with that in mind, let's head over to Replit and I'll show you how you can get started and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so this is Replit. And before you're able to start working on coding challenges, you'll need to sign up and create your account, okay? So right now I am logged in, but let's see what I am prompted to do if I'm logged out. So you'll be asked to create a Replit account. Some parameters here I'd like to let you know about. It's good practice to use a name that isn't your actual name, okay? This is kind of a social media platform where people share code, comment on each other's code, and collaborate together. So it's common practice to not use your name, but that's not a hard and fast rule. It's just a recommendation. Another really important recommendation I have for you is that you use a non-UMass email address, maybe a Gmail, something like that. And then you can create whatever password you want. The reason I'd like you to use a non-UMass email address is I'd like this platform to be available to you long after you've graduated from UMass. This can be a useful forward-facing piece of your professional portfolio. And by the end of class, you'll have at least 20 coding challenges, which in itself will demonstrate your progress with Python. You'll be able to talk about that in interviews and say, yeah, I've been able to learn all this and in a relatively short time. And here's what I have to show for it. So using a non-UMass email address will help you with that. So you could use Google, GitHub, any of these third-party authenticators will work just fine as well. Okay, so once you have that all set up, let's see what this process is going to look like for you. So I'm going to take a look at a coding challenge in Blackboard, and let's navigate back to that. So in our Blackboard learning management system, I have multiple coding challenges for you. You'll notice that they all have this symbol. This is how we're going to be submitting the coding challenges. It'll go through the platform called CodeGrade, which is just there to check your work. So I have auto tests that are going to run your code, your program that you write, through different scenarios to make sure it's working in all cases. Okay, and when you do first access any assignment that is a CodeGrade assignment, you'll be prompted to purchase access to CodeGrade. That is the one thing that needs to be purchased for this class. There's no textbook because we're going to be learning by doing. And this CodeGrade platform allows us to do that and gives you immediate feedback. So you're able to refine your code and achieve mastery. So we'll be covering that later on. But if you want to go ahead and get started, it should be pretty straightforward to set that up. What I would like to show you is how you can build your code in this Replit playground area that we're going to be using. And then this is probably what it will look like for you the first time you click through these steps. Okay, so notice that I was brought to this space. Okay, so that could happen. Now I am not logged in, and I'm going to need to log in before I can start working on this coding challenge. So what you will be seeing is a template that has some comments. So in the earlier video, I showed you what a comment was. That's just some text to provide context to whatever challenge we're going to do. So this first challenge is to write a function, which we'll be learning about, that checks if one number is an integer multiple of another number. Okay, so right now I can't type on this. I'm going to want to be writing my code in some blank space here. And in order to do that, I need to click on this option, which is it says fork. And what that means is you're going to create your own copy that you'll be able to edit. So then I'll click on how I usually log in. Next thing I need to do is edit in workspace. Okay, so I need this to be editable. So I'll click on that button to edit in workspace. And this is what pops up. Okay, notice I have two panels here. One is all the comments that tell me what I need to do to solve this problem. So you'll be typing in some Python code, which we'll be doing when we get to that portion of our class. But anyway, this is what some Python code looks like. And when we want to run our code, we're going to click on the run button here. And that's going to execute this code. We're going to have some tests, right? So we're going to be able to check, and we're going to have some arguments. And we'll do all of this once we get to it. There's going to be a bunch of code in here. And that is going to perform some operation that will check if one number, the first number entered, is an integer multiple of the second number. So we'll be able to give these variable names, maybe X and Y. But more to come. We'll solve this together. We'll solve the first few coding challenges together. And then when we're ready, we'll run the code and we're going to see some output in the console. So this area on the left-hand side is called the script. This area is called the console. And this is going to be a very useful playground for us to build and run our code. When you're ready to submit it, you're going to be copying and pasting your code into the submission space, which we'll cover in a later lesson. Okay, so just to recap, make sure to make your Replit account username that's not your actual name, email that's not your UMass email, whatever password you want. When accessing the coding challenges, look for the link embedded in the text, right? Click to open the coding challenge right here. And then make sure you fork a copy for yourself and then edit in Workspace, and you'll be good to go. Thanks, everyone.